So we've got a very cool aquarium here in the bar. It's got stripies, sergeant majors, and a lovely blue tang. A whole bunch of blackfish. Now the ornaments are well and truly looking like it's time to put them in the sun for a day. And if you leave them in the sun for a day and then switch them around and leave them in the sun for another day facing the other way, then these ornaments will come up much nicer. You'll be amazed how the sun bleaches the ornaments back to good. Now we need to be watching the bellies of these fish. So if you look under this little black fish, you'll see that he's a bit skinny. We don't want to see the belly go up like this. We want to see a more full belly.
Service? Yeah. You're going to cook the fish for the heat, isn't it?
It's a bit warm, isn't it? You turn one or two off, I think. Actually, I think she's just grabbing someone to serve you, right? Do they know you're coming? See how the belly is?
Yes, I specifically left that on there so you could see in case it was that.
Normally we would get that really good clean.
Yeah.
Wouldn't expect to see it.
So he seems to be feeding quite well.
About 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So if he's eating well, what we're going to need is some larger size pellets. Because if you've got bigger fish and the bigger fish are not holding weight, then we need larger pellets. So a bit of frozen food would be good, or some larger pellets. So this is a very good food, but probably more suitable for the smaller fish. So there's lots of little pellets there.
I'll be surprised if the guys are clean that if that's the case, but that's one of the first things we do.
Yeah. When I disconnected it,
So I think adding some frozen food to this diet would be good.
just in case that was called.
And maybe some larger Danichi pellets. So this is saying 0.022, which is a good salinity for these fish. I don't mind it a little bit lower, but that's totally okay. And it's saying the temperature is 23.8, which is on the cooler side for the tropical fish, but totally fine for most of these fish. I wouldn't mind raising the temperature a little bit, I wouldn't mind lowering the salinity a little bit, but I'm not that worried at all. Now this is what I call a spring clean. So what I've done is I've gone and removed all of the decorations out of this tank, and I'm going to place these decorations in the sun for a day or so, and the algae will dry up and basically fall off. Then hit it with a hose. Then once it looks rejuvenated, turn it around and then leave it for another day. And then when we put it back in the aquarium, we'll decorate it differently, and that will give the aquarium some new life. And a lot of these ornaments will come up much nicer after spending a little bit of time in the sun, but we don't want to leave them in the sun too long because we don't want to actually bleach them. We just want to bleach off the algae. So in the next day or two, if this can be checked, hosed and turned around, and then a few days after that, checked, hosed, and then put back in the aquarium. And just be aware that a lot of these ornaments are very disposable. What I mean by that is that over time, especially the fake plants and things, they do start to look old. So doing this can give them some more life, but when they're dead, they're dead. And it's a good idea just to get some new ornaments, and that will revive your interest in the aquarium, make it all different again, and give the fish somewhere new to explore. Because I'm doing a spring clean of this aquarium and I'm moving all the rocks and so forth, it is possible that gases are released during this process for any potential anoxic zones underneath all these rocks. So adding a fresh polyfilter is something that I consider to be very important whenever doing major jobs like this. It basically eradicates your chance of hydrogen sulfide poisoning for your fish. I highly recommend polyfilter every time you do something major with the tank. This water quality at the moment, the KH is quite good, the pH is slightly low but good, the phosphate is slightly high. That would be causing a little bit much algae. There are products like Algon that we could consider putting in to reduce the phosphate and reduce the algae. The magnesium is slightly low. That would be worth boosting up a little bit. ammonia is basically zero, nitrite's basically zero, and the nitrate's very high. So we definitely want to have a nice big water change, and this spring clean is absolutely going to help the nitrate. Otherwise, we might need to consider dosing something for nitrate. We really need to get that nitrate level down. Now, because there is some nitrate in this aquarium and the fish are a little bit on the skinny side, there's a few things that we can consider. For a start, we can consider using a probiotic food. A probiotic food is going to help keep your nutrient levels down while still feeding the fish, because the probiotic food is a cold extruded food, so you're actually getting all the vitamins in it. And also it's got the probiotic bacteria in the food, which means when the fish poo, the bacteria in the poo eats the poo. So that's going to help. Water changes are going to help. So doing more water changes are going to help. And then if we did think about adding a carbon supplement to this tank, something like Nopox from Red Sea, then that will help to control this nitrate as well. Now, this aquarium currently has nitrate in it. Now, what my concerns are is that the skimmers aren't really functioning, so therefore that's going to be increasing our nitrate level, and these skimmers are really not getting attention. So we really can't look at using any of the nitrate supplements if we don't have effective skimming. So thinking about putting an effective skimmer on this aquarium would be a very good idea. These ones are very old and absolutely require replacing. In a perfect world, because this skimmer isn't in a situation that's easily accessible, because it's actually outside, getting one with a top cleaner on it would be even better, because that way it'll clean itself in between your services. Now, what we want to do on a regular basis is suck all the crap out of the sump. So if you can see down here, lots of garbage is settled in the bottom of the sump, and just by getting a siphon hose and getting in here like this, you can see how much difference that's made. You can quickly clean all this up, and this needs to be done on a regular basis. You often want to know, when does a poly filter need replacing, and I would say like this. So see the way it's actually turned black? So that means this poly filter is expired. They will quickly turn light brown, then they'll go brown, and then when they're like this, they're totally done, ready for the bin. Putting yourself a new one of these in, best thing you'll ever spend money on. They're not cheap, but they're worth it.